And I can't do this.
Sure you can, sure you can. She's on.
You know, it's a shame that the very choice we have in where we give birth and how natural we want it to be, and if there's less intervention used, that's being stripped from us. And I've often, friends and family have said to me, why don't you just have your baby in hospital? And I have to say, that's like saying to Rosa Parks, why don't you just get up and move to the back of the bus? This is a matter of principle, that I want the freedom to choose, where I give birth, and to have a midwife present, and not to have all the interventions that are so forcibly put upon us when we go to hospital. I don't want to spend the time during the labor, I don't want to spend that time arguing and fighting with nurses and doctors about my philosophy in life and what I want to go through during the birth. So for me, home births have been the best option. And when it was taken from us in Ireland, and they said, you've had now more than 5 children, so you no longer have this freedom, we decided to take matters into our own hands, and we began researching where we could go to have our home birth. And everything opened up to come to Israel, and so that's what we decided to do. It was a huge journey for our family, but it was one we definitely do again. And it was expensive, and Seamus would say, you've done your labor and now I have to do mine. This was very expensive.
Before 2008, there were no home birth protocols from the Ministry of Health. In 2008, the Ministry of Health passed home birth midwives that are for the most part not evidence-based. They're arbitrary, and they're meant to restrict home birth. The ones that they're going to pass now are completely arbitrary, that have no rationale at all, such as how big a room you need to deliver a home birth, such as needing a doctor to say you're sane, such as not being able to have a 6th or 7th birth at home on a healthy woman. They're not based on any research. They're meant to restrict home birth, and that is coming from the Ministry of Health heads, such as Dr. Yaffe from Bikor Cholim, such as Dr. Shoshana Riva, the head of the nursing department, whose aim is to completely eliminate all planned attended home birth. As a result, they will certainly get unattended home birth increasing. This has been coming because home birth used to be a very, very marginal activity, but last year there were 750 planned attended home births, and because of the small increase, they want to cut it down before it grows. In the case that recently came up against me, the mother and baby were fine when the Ministry of Health released a press release saying that the mother and baby were in critical condition. Critical condition was the title. And that was in the press release. And they released these 180-degree wrong statements completely to give women the impression that home birth could end in a disaster, when it never does. The mother and baby were fine. They were kept in the hospital longer than they needed to be to keep up this myth. And the day after the press release, the mother and baby were at home.